Hey guys, this is Jacob and I'm going to show you how to use my Untetherizer application. First, download Pawnage Tool. You can get that at blog.iphone-dev.org. Next, you're going to have to download the tethered Red Snow Lite 101 package from redsnow.com. So download that right now and open it up with your favorite extractor application. Now go to your downloads folder or wherever you saved it and drag the RS Lite folder to the desktop if you have not already. Open up the RS Lite folder and go to Custom Packages, and secondary click cydia-installer.bundle and show package contents. Copy info.plist to the desktop, and you can close all of these windows. You can delete RS Lite if you want to. Now, we're going to need a firmware bundle for Pawnage Tool to use for our iPod Touch 2nd generation, so start Untetherizer. I'm sorry, let me close it first. Start Untetherizer and download a firmware package. I prefer the custom logo firmware package because you can modify what logos are on your iPod. So go ahead and download it. And download. And you can save it or open it up in an extractor application. So I'm going to open it up in an extractor application. And it should appear in my downloads folder. And I'm going to drag that iPod, 2.1 firmware bundle to my desktop. Okay, we have all the necessary files for Pawnage Tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to secondary click Pawnage Tool and go to Show Package Contents. Go to Contents, go to Resources, and don't do that. Go to Custom Packages, and secondary click cydia-installer.bundle and show the package contents. Drag info.plist to this folder and overwrite the existing. Okay, now let's go back and let's go to firmware bundles and drag our iPod 2.1 firmware.bundle to this folder. Please make sure that your iPod is plugged in before you start Pawnage Tool. I don't have an iPod on me right now, so I will not go through the process. But you're going to start Pawnage Tool. Select the iPod Touch. Make sure Expert Mode is on. And click Next. Under this list, you will see your firmware bundle once your iPod is plugged in. Unfortunately, I don't have mine with me right now because I'm on the go. But after this step, you will see many different options. The one that you want to worry about is custom logos. If you do not use the custom logo firmware bundle, you want to make sure that custom logos are unchecked. Otherwise, if you use the custom logo firmware bundle, you're fine to go. After that, all you have to do is click Build, and your firmware bundle will build, and it will save to the desktop. Once your firmware is saved to the desktop, it'll be iPod 2.1 2.2.15H11A custom.ipsw. We want to rename that firmware.ipsw. Okay, now all we have to do is download our LLB 24K pawn patch. So I'm going to pause the video. When I download that, I'll make sure to include a link in the post or in my Untetherizer post with that download. I downloaded the 24K pawn patch, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unzip it. Okay, please do not modify the name of the patch if the name is different than llb.n72ap.release.patch. Please ensure that it matches the patch name in the patch text field in Untetherizer. Okay, once we're done with that, please ensure that you have firmware.ipsw and the patch file on your desktop. That is a crucial step. Once you are done with that, we're going to generate patched firmware from Untetherizer. It will open up Terminal. Please do not open or close Terminal. Doing so may show invalid results, or however you want to put it, but just don't close Terminal. It'll go through the patching process. I'll make sure to show that in my video. Here it is. It'll apply the 24K pawn patch, and it'll rezip your IPSW to the desktop. The IPSW on the desktop will be called normal untetherized firmware.ipsw. That is the firmware file you're going to use in iTunes to restore. To restore in iTunes, you're going to go open iTunes first of all, ensure that your iPod is successfully in DFU mode. If it is successfully in DFU mode, iTunes will tell you that an iPod has been detected in recovery mode. Once your iPod is in DFU mode, you're going to use the Start DFU Preboot process. The DFU Preboot process basically preps the iPod in DFU so that we can send modified code over to the iPod from DFU. Restoring your iPod from DFU without starting the DFU Preboot process will be unsuccessful, and you will get errors in iTunes. But to open up your Untetherized firmware.ipsw in iTunes, you're going to option click the Restore button after you click the iPod in the upper left corner in iTunes. Just option click Restore and browse to your desktop and select Normal Untetherized firmware.ipsw. Now let's take this a step further. Say you use the various NOR patch found on iPod Touch fans or from Muscle Nerd on blog.iphone-dev.org or on iphone.org. You're going to click Me if I'm NOR only. This has to be clicked after you generate patched firmware. So you have to have the Untetherized firmware.ipsw on the desktop. So click Me if I'm NOR only. What the NOR only option will do is it'll remove some extra baggage from your IPSW file. It will basically go through the same process as generating your patch firmware, but a little bit faster. So it's going to generate right now. Once it's done, it's going to zip your IPSW, remove temporary files, and it'll tell you that it has finished. Okay, on the desktop, you will see that you have a NOR untetherized firmware.ipsw. That is the file you are going to use in iTunes if you want to restore to a NOR-only IPSW. Please follow the steps. As I said before, you need to put your iPod into DFU and start the DFU Preboot process. Okay, that's it. I hope I explained a little bit more about Untetherized, about how to use it, and I hope these directions are pretty easy to follow. If you have any questions at all, please post a message on the forum post for Untetherize, or you can PM me through iPodTouchFans.com. Thank you.